Hey y'all, how we doing? Glad to be back. Today I had a couple of folks present to me a couple of things that were definitely important in the trans community and even in dating itself. I brought up, I had been in discussion with a couple of my friends recently about, what does it take to date somebody that, constantly seems to get their gender questioned. Now, granted, even some of the most straight people do, as well. And then anyway, this conversation continued, and I got to send a shout out to my girl online. Let's call her AF, just to protect her privacy if she wants that. She brought up some, and you know who you are, girl. Just to protect, she brought up a couple of points that she definitely wanted me to bring to attention. And another great shout out to definitely my other girl, URM. Why not? So, what's up, girl? And she was reading a great review. I put up her video on my Facebook, and also as a like through the YouTube. So she'll see that I added her there. So my peeps out to that. And then my girl here let me borrow this fantabulous shirt here. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm loving it. It's one of the tour shirts. So thanks to you, my sister. So if I read from the book, excuse me, but I'll look with you as much as I can and on with you in this brief discussion. With my cognitive memory, it's not the best. So we wanted to talk a little bit about the top 10 or some of the top 10 points. I thought we'd make sort of a part 2. That way, if someone wants to access the top 10 immediately without my little sort of introduction to everybody in the beginning on, but I gotta put my street creds out there to everybody. So we wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the top 10 tips for dating a trans, or in my case, somewhat of an intersex as well. And she definitely brought up a lot of great points that I'd like to point out. Now, this won't be exactly 10, and we're going to just kind of touch on a lot of these areas just a little bit, and then I'm going to also add a little bit of my views of what I've noticed trying to date. One of the most important things I want to talk about just briefly first before we start getting into this list that I want to add is I found, and I know we're all, that there's the negative Nancy's, there's the, the cliches, there's the devil's advocate, on all that stuff. I get it. And I know there's a side to everything, but humor me for just a few seconds, okay? I know that gender is questioned constantly. I know that people just want to ask and they're not trying to pry. But one of the most important things I found in trying to date someone that has questioned their gender all their life, or at least are misinterpreted or misunderstood, or just not been able to, had struggled with some sort of, gender or sexual identity, is I wish that if the only thing that you can take out of this is a small piece of education to take to someone, or someone that has not seen this yet, or that is interested or whatnot, to allow you to be educated in the sense that, like, we're not preaching, we're just trying to help educate, and because I feel like, I don't want to feel like, I'm not pointing fingers or whatnot, but I want to make sure to state that, in all the experiences that I've had recently, now I know they're not all like this, and a lot of other people do understand these things, and this is just supposed to be here for those that might be questioning it or whatnot. So I found that in my dating, that I almost always, actually I put a blog up recently about this, is I feel like I'm always getting my gender questioned, because one of the first things that comes up is, oh, you're a man in women's clothing? And I was like, oh my gosh, like somebody's well uneducated. Secondly, it's like, okay, so do you have this or that? And it's like they constantly start asking you about your genitalia, and then they go, well, I'm not judging you. I'm like, well, you obviously are because you're bringing that up. And, and then they say, well, I mean, we can still see where it goes or whatnot. And what they're really just saying is, no, I'm not really interested. I just want to be your sister or friend or whatnot. I get it. Just tell me. Don't waste my time. But also what bothers me is, why can't you just call up and be like, what do you like? What are your interests? What do you enjoy doing? Things like that. I feel like as any, human being, whether you're straight, gay, bi, whatever you fall under, that shouldn't you want to get to know the person as a human being? Because you've got to base this off of a strong friendship now. You don't want to just jump in. Now some people are ready to jump in. It's a whole different thing. So I wanted to cover that a little bit. Definitely some of these important points that I want to bring up are, please don't call us trannies or she-males. Maybe some folks want to be called that. We'd like to be seen as a woman. At least it's my opinion. Now, this is not going to apply to everybody. It's just my own opinion that I'm sharing on how I'd like to see someone if they were considering to, say, try to date me or someone similar to some of my concerns or worries that we have. Sometimes we're looked at in the dating pool as kind of this, like enhanced anomaly or almost like a star or whatnot in a sense. And, we're just, please just treat us as a good genetic woman, not be like, oh, well, they're a woman, and then treat us like give us a nasty attitude. Which leads into the next one, respect. Definitely keep that respect up. Do little things. It's the little things that really count. Write a little letter or send a little text or an email that you enjoy that person, because I find that, call me old-fashioned, but I don't tend to call. I don't want people to get misunderstood, like, oh, she's not interested or she's rude, or it's not any of those things. It's just growing up in my past, it's very difficult because I don't want to feel like I'm bothering people. And even though people then come back and get agitated and go, well, you're not bothering me, I'll go, well, obviously now I feel like I have, because now they sound agitated. And I need to have someone that, for me, comes around and is gentle. I need gentle, sincere human beings. I don't need aggressive, angry, short-tempered human beings around. It's just what I've come to know, and what I know what makes me safe in my environment. I want to feel safe in my environment. I don't want to feel unsafe. Don't ask her a question like, which leads to kind of what I was following up with in the beginning about, questioning their genitalia. So you used to be a man. Well, we never thought we were. At least, many of us in my discussions have found that we were already a woman. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't stay as a male and have feminine qualities. Nothing wrong with that. Just for me, I'm matching what works for me. Not to say that that's matching to society's rules. It's matching what is comfortable for me as a human being. I know it's another heightened excitement for individuals that if they go and look for pre-op, but we all struggle with our femininity, and we're just trying to be beautiful female women that express who we are as individuals. It should not matter really what your gender identity base is. But this just leads to, now some people don't like what we like to call top. I won't really get into that. That's a little intimate. Granted, I'm already going into some pretty intimate things already. But it shouldn't really matter whether someone wants to be topped or bottomed or whatever, in my opinion. Because, for me, definitely, it's not about, oh, let's go see if I can bag this human being. Because, there's so many diseases and issues out there. Not that diseases are trying to stop people from having sex. But I don't consider it sex. I consider it making love to a special human being. I guess maybe that's why I don't have it very often, which sucks booty. Chocolate! I need chocolate as my aphrodisiac to fill. You know, that's another whole subject. Please don't introduce her as this is my trainee. I mean, like one of my wonderful best friends, one of my good sisters said to me once, I'd be like, well, this is my black friend. You know, I mean, I know that was a horrible accent, but I mean, you see what I'm trying to say there, right? I mean, you don't go, hi, this is the trainee I was talking about, you know. I mean, please, just be like, oh, look, this is my friend Jenna, for example, you know, or girlfriend or friend or lady friend. Things like that are definitely very, very important. You know, try not to burden her with questions about, like, her old family, and I know that those will come up in time. Let her, when she's comfortable, excuse me, I can't even say the word today. When she's comfortable talking about that, she'll bring it up. Just please don't rush it. You know, and she's already in an emotional state, trying to deal with enough issues already. You know, about, like, say, old friends and family and who may have known her, who she was before, and prior co-workers. That's a difficult time for this poor individual. You know, give us a break. You know, just because she's got a penis doesn't make us best buds. Which, you know, doesn't mean that you can be a best bud when you have one, because it doesn't matter what genitalia you have. I mean, I know a lot of female to males that are dude friends. So, I mean, you know, yes, you can still have a best friendship with somebody, definitely. But, I mean, you know, if you want to get to know them beyond that, you definitely got to have a strong friendship before you can even have a relationship, of course, which is a whole other situation to look into. You know, and as they say, like a lot of them that go through, you know, the hormone replacement therapy, HRT, find that a lot of the men's thoughts will tend to fade, and, you know, that's very common. And some other times you'll still have many tendencies. Someone's not going to say that, well, now do you like Barbies or more pink, or, you know, you don't enjoy the game. No, they're still going to love all those things. Just because their outside change doesn't mean that all that's going to change. You know, there might be some little subtle differences or whatnot, but there's nothing set in stone or enough evidence to prove scientifically that someone gets on hormones and suddenly they're going to, you know, completely change and think, oh, I'm all this or all that. You know, there might be some tendency there, but it's not set in stone. That's what I'm trying to say, you know, with any of these things. You know, please, one of the most important things I want to make sure to get here is, please, shower her with compliments. I guess I'm running out of videos, so I'm going to wrap this up. There's another small dating list I'm going to cover, and then my shout out, I want to cover her questions as well. So kind of watch this in a part 2. All right, thanks. I'll see you guys in part 2.